icons. I'm so glad to be here with you all this evening. Me and Max. Say hi, Max. You guys, Mother Gaia is always transmuting energy, always taking in energy and balancing that out by releasing it. And I'm here to tell you guys, as empaths, as light workers, as healers, um, part of our purpose here is to help Mother Gaia to transmute that energy. And I'm going to be sharing with you tonight three ways that you can do that, okay? Three major ways you can do that. Greetings, Marilyn, my aunt. Thank you for saying hi to Max. He misses you. You guys, before I get into the topic tonight, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Pangea Northstar. I am an empath. I'm a Reiki healer, a sound therapist, and a teacher. I love to talk about um, things of a spiritual nature. My favorite thing to talk about is love and the various ways that we can utilize the power of love in our life. And tonight, the way we're talking about utilizing love in the way of helping Mother Gaia to transmute energy. So let's go. All right, you guys, as I stated before, Mother Gaia is always transmuting energy. She has all these things flying at her all the time, okay? All these different energies. It could be solar flares, solar winds, energy radiating from other planetary bodies, including our sun, you know. Also, think about the pollution that humans create. You know, Mother Gaia has to balance that out, has to have a way of balancing that out. We've got humans are polluting the air, the land, the water. Also, when you think about energetic pollution, right? The energy that all the wild emotions from humans, you know, when we ground into the earth, Mother Gaia is absorbing that energy. You also think about the energies of wars, other acts of violence and injustices. Mother Gaia is also absorbing that energy. And when she's taken all that she can take, she then balances that out by having a major release, right? Um, this could be floods, storms, earthquakes, volcanoes, all types of things that we would call tragedies, right? Or disasters, right? But that energy has to go somewhere. And that is just part of the life cycle of Mother Gaia is taking on the energy and releasing those energies. And sometimes those ways of releasing the energy can be catastrophic. Now, as we all know, you know, it's been predicted for thousands of years that there would be all of these horrible, tumultuous, you know, natural disasters and things that will happen. And it is very possible that those things could happen, but it's also very possible that we can help abate or lessen some of those disasters by helping Mother Gaia to transmute energy. So, what are the ways in which we can do that? I'm just going to name a few. There are definitely more ways that we can help as empaths, as light workers, as healers, as you know, anyone can do these things. So I'm just going to share those with you. And if you have ideas about how to help Mother Gaia transmute energy, please share those in the comments. And I'd be glad to share those with the rest of our audience. If you have questions that come up with for you during this session, also please add those questions in the comments, and I'll be glad to get to those questions. All right, so number one, the number one way that you can help Mother Gaia transmute energy is to stop letting other people dump their trauma, their negativity, their overwhelm, their fear, their anxiety on you. Okay. As I mentioned earlier, Mother Gaia is absorbing our energies, right? And helping us to stay grounded. Well, one of the ways you can help her is to help keep yourself grounded, right? So stop letting people dump their crap on you. And this can be very difficult, especially as an empath. We tend to feel other people's emotions. When someone is afraid and they express that to us, we feel their fear. When someone's overwhelmed, we'll feel their overwhelm. They're having some type of emergency. That urgency can easily become our urgency. But part of maturing as an empath is learning how to turn that off, right? You can't go through your life being a big sponge for everybody else's emotions. That's not healthy. And that will easily, quickly become out of balance for you. So you have to know how to separate yourself. Not everything requires a response. Not every emotion has to be matched in order for you to show that you care. Okay. And that's very, very important. A lot of times we're taught that, giving someone that same emotion back, mimicking their emotions is caring, right? Just because someone else is upset doesn't mean that you have to become upset. Okay, you can show your care and your concern just by holding space for that person. You can show your care and concern by saying, hey, whenever you feel able to talk, whenever you're able to calm yourself and feel ready to talk, ready to hear some solutions, then I can be there for that part, right? That's something I'm learning to do because I'm very solutions oriented. So I'm not always like the best person to call if a person is just like in the fit of emotion and doesn't want to hear anything. Right now, I'm not a good person for that because I'm not gonna um I'm not gonna always be in a space to hear all that and just absorb it and not say anything. But if you're looking for solutions, I'm your girl. I'm your girl. That's an easy one, right? So you guys, protecting your energy in that way will help you to stay balanced so that you're not taking on the weight of other people's journey. And then there's less energy, less negativity coming from you, less anxiety and overwhelm coming from you that Mother Gaia has to then transmute as well, right? So keeping ourselves in emotional balance helps Mother Gaia, right? So if you have any questions about that, and thank you for the support in the chat. Like, I see this making sense to you. If that is making sense to you, give me some more fire in the chat, right? Protect your own energy. Protect your own energy. It's very important. So then you're able to be a clear vessel, right? You're able to multiply the peace in the world rather than multiplying the overwhelm in the world by taking on other people's overwhelm when they express to you that they are overwhelmed. I had an incident today. I had to, get off the phone with somebody. I was like, hey, I see that, you're not in a place where you're yet open to solutions. So, let's talk when you are. It can be difficult, but sometimes you have to do that. Okay, so the number 2 way I'm going to list to help Mother Gaia transmute energy, help Mother Gaia come into balance as she is going through this major timeline shift as the new earth is being birthed. This is very, very important that we're able to do these things. We're able to recognize these things and help Mother Gaia out. And she's so supportive to us. It's awesome. It's a great feeling to lend some support back to her. So number 2, stop holding on to old timelines. Stop holding on to old timelines. When people, places, and things have fallen out of resonance with you, when you notice, hey, I now see in this relationship, there's a vibrational gap between me and this other person. Or, this job that I'm in, I see that there's a vibrational gap between me and this job or this career path. This no longer feels like a fit for me. When you see that, hey, maybe my city that I live in, vibrational gap, there's no longer a fit between me and this city, or a lifestyle change. Maybe you're wanting to eat differently or exercise more. When you feel that there is some major decision that you need to make that decision. Okay, many of us have been holding on to relationships, to places, to life paths that we've chosen that seemed like a great fit and maybe was a great fit in the past, but they don't fit anymore, right? And just because it doesn't fit now, it doesn't mean that wasn't a good choice for you in the past. You don't have to invalidate that past decision you made in order to move on, right? Maybe sometimes, that's a habit. If that makes sense, and you notice yourself trying to invalidate old relationships, old career choices, places that you've chosen to live, or ways that you've chosen to live in order to move on, give me some fire in the chat if that makes sense to you. Maybe you hadn't thought of that. Like, man, I've been trying to deconstruct this, pick it apart, and criticize it so that I can let it go. But you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. You can honor the fact that that was at one point a really good choice for you, a really good move for you. Perhaps it provided some things that were very good for you at the time, that were very helpful, that helped you grow, that made you feel supported in the past. That's okay. Those things are still valid, right? You can go into your quiet time, your meditation time, and just thank that person, that event, that situation or circumstance, and offer thanks, offer gratitude for what it gave to you, and you can move on. Okay. If it's a person, perhaps you can, give them directly, show your gratitude, you know, and move on. It's okay. You can honor what was offered to you while moving on to the next thing. That's totally okay. All right. So make that decision that you've been putting off. Okay. And I recognize too, I want to go a little further with this and recognize that, for some people, this could be major relationships. This could be a spouse. This could be a family member, you know. Um, those type of changes, those type of detachments can be very, very difficult. But if you've known for quite some time that, man, this is really doesn't resonate, it's become painful, it has become draining and exhausting for you to stay in that scenario and keep giving at the same level, or giving at the level that you had previously committed to. If it's now become painful and exhausting and draining, that's a sign. That's a sign that it's time to move on. And I'm encouraging you, I'm inviting you to give yourself permission to move on. There's something else wonderful waiting for you. Okay? So, if that makes sense, give me some fire in the chat. Let me know if that's resonating for you. If you have questions, go ahead and get your questions in the chat before we move on to point number 3. I know these things are helpful for you guys, and that, you may not have really made that connection between, oh, wow, when I balance myself, I am helping Mother Gaia to transmute energy. But this is the case. This is just something that has been shown to me in my meditation time, that we can decrease the severity of natural disasters. We can decrease the number of tragedies that happen, the number of lives lost. I don't know if you all have noticed, there's been several major earthquakes, but they've been way out, far out, like in the ocean, in places that are not highly populated. Okay, why? Because there's such a major shift happening among humanity. So many of us are dropping in and going into the heart space, checking in with our higher selves, and saying yes to evolution, saying yes to our healing journeys. That's very, very exciting, and it is so helpful to Mother Gaia. Number 3, we're going to move on to step number 3, or thing number 3 that you can do to help Mother Gaia transmute energy during this beautiful time of transition for her, as she is she is laboring to birth the new earth. Thing number 3 you can do is stop resisting your own emotions. Okay, stop resisting your own emotions. Allow them to come so that they can go. Okay, I have learned over the years to think of my emotions as a wave, right? A wave from the ocean. You see the tide, it comes in, and you see the tide go out. So I used to have a really big problem with resisting my emotions. Like if I felt like I needed to cry, I would just, oh, I'm not gonna cry. I would just hold, hold my tears back, or just I had a resistance to any huge waves of emotions. If I felt like I was falling in love with somebody, I would hold back. Oh, I'm not gonna catch feelings. I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna be so reserved, and always trying to stay in control, right? Well, that builds up all this huge energetic resistance in your energy field, right? And when you're living your life like that, it really does hamper your growth, for one, and that's also more energy. Your nervous system becomes overwhelmed, and that overwhelm is what you're passing on to Mother Gaia. Okay, so listen, empaths, let's talk empaths. So many of us are greatly affected by um, the emotions of the collective. Okay, the emotions of the collective. And right now, we're living in some tumultuous times. Okay, so there may be times when you are feeling overwhelmed or feeling fear, feeling anxiety coming in from the collective. And you may be mistaking these emotions for your own. It's very easy to do because it's like, I'm feeling the emotions. Have you ever stopped and asked yourself, are these emotions mine? A lot of the times they're not. A lot of times they're not. You're picking up on the emotions that are coming up out of the collective. It could be a wave of grief, exhaustion, and overwhelm. It can be a lot of different things, but you don't have to carry that. You don't have to carry that. It's not your purpose in life to carry those overwhelming emotions. So when you're feeling something that you don't quite understand, stop and ask yourself, well, are these feelings mine? And listen for an answer. Okay, many times it will be the case that these are not your emotions. Okay, now when that is the case, you still have to let yourself feel those emotions, but it can be very helpful in allowing those emotions to come when you can identify that they're not my emotions. Okay, because when you're thinking of them as yours and all yours, then you're trying to assign it, trying to attribute it to something. Well, is it because of my job? Is it because of something my friend said? Is it my relationship? And that is like your partner hasn't done anything wrong today, but you're feeling sad, you're feeling some grief, you're feeling some anger. And if you're not able to identify that these emotions are not yours, then you can have a reaction to something that didn't happen at all, or to something small that happened that is disproportionate, that is not, in balance with what's actually happening. Okay, you can have a huge reaction to something that's very small. Okay, so you can be misappropriating, misplacing that energy. Okay, and sometimes I can just keep you in confusion because it's like you're trying to figure out, well, where is all of this rage coming from, and looking for something in your life to assign it to. And it's not even that. It's just the energy, the waves of emotion coming from the collective, from the people that are here on earth. Okay. So sometimes just allowing yourself to feel into that and ask yourself, is this really mine? It can help you to identify it and therefore allow it to come so that it can go. Okay, allowing those emotions to pass through you. Okay, that's very, very important. Now, because of the solar flares and all these types of things that are happening, that have really, really ramped up over the past year, another way you may be affected is by feeling exhaustion. Sometimes you can just feel so exhausted, and I mean physically exhausted, not just emotionally exhausted, but physically exhausted. And really, you may think that this is an easy one, but sometimes we can beat ourselves up about resting at times that this doesn't seem like the time to rest. We live in a culture that very much praises overdoing, overdoing, overworking, and calling that productivity. Okay. If you feel tired, even if it's unexplained, let being tired be enough. Give yourself a break. Give yourself some rest. If you can take a nap, take a nap. Even if it's just closing your eyes for 30, 45 minutes, giving yourself a break, sit down, create some space in your life for better self care. Okay. Caring for yourself physically is super important. That is a major way of transmuting energy. And when you are transmuting your energy, Mother Gaia does not have to. Okay. So we want to make sure that we are able to give ourselves rest when we need rest, give ourselves compassion and patience when we need that. And to also, identify the difference in when is this my need for rest? When am I picking up on something from the collective? Okay. And to also to recognize that we're not using any of this as spiritual bypassing. Let's make that clear. Okay. We're not using any of this for spiritual bypassing. Okay. And spiritual bypassing, for those who don't know, is when you use a spiritual concept to dismiss what you're experiencing, what you're feeling. Okay. And that's not at all what I'm suggesting. That's not at all what I'm suggesting at all. Okay. But for those who are empaths, those who are light workers, those who are healers, many times the circumstances of your life by design, by design, are representative of something that many people in the collective are also experiencing. Okay. But you may be experiencing this and working this out. Okay. And feel led to really heal yourself from particular traumas because it helps to dissipate the blocked energy in the collective. Okay. So when you heal yourself, energetically, there is a benefit to others because you are putting that particular, let's say, brand of healing out into the atmosphere. And when the next person reaches for that from a sincere place, it is available for them. Okay. So I want you all to think about that and to recognize that, hey, when I heal, it helps other people to heal. And especially for empaths, because we tend to share our experiences with other people. We tend to be more likely to tell someone else, hey, I experienced that. Here's what happened with my situation. Here's what I learned from it. And perhaps me sharing this information with you can help you as well. Okay. So, if this resonated for you, give me some fire in the chat. Let me know that this felt good to you. Let me know that this makes sense to you. Let me know this gave you some things to think about. I don't see any questions coming up in the chat right now. So I'm gonna sign off, you all. We're gonna end this session, but I do want you guys to give some serious thought to this and let me know when you watch this video if this resonated for you. Okay. And even if you have questions later and you're not here live with us, if you have questions that come up, drop a question in the comments and I will do my best to get to your questions and answer your questions. Okay. But thank you all so much for joining me this evening. It has been wonderful spending this time with you all. Thank you. Thank you. I really enjoyed bringing this message to you guys. Thanks so much for the support in the chat. And I will see you all next week. Same time. Love and peace to everybody. Bye.